I entered the Byzantine arena thinking skill and strength would keep me alive. I was wrong. Blood, betrayal, and the roar of the crowd taught me that survival isn't earned with a sword, it's earned with cunning, patience, and knowing who to trust. Allies can stab you in the back, enemies can teach you lessons, and every choice carries a price. As I faced my first brutal fight, I realized the arena doesn't just break bodies, it breaks hearts, tests minds, and shapes warriors in ways no one could predict. I stumbled through the gates of the arena, heart hammering like a war drum. The scent of blood and sweat hit me first. "Welcome, boy," Marcus said, his voice rough low. "You think you're ready?" I think so," I muttered, trying to sound braver than I felt. Marcus chuckled darkly. "Thinking isn't enough. You survive with your wits, your reflexes, and a little luck. Watch closely." He led me along the corridor, past bodies strewn on straw, some twitching, others already claimed by death. I swallowed hard, gripping my sword. A young man stepped beside me, Titus, lean and sharp-eyed. "You look green," he said, smirking. "First fight." I nodded. "Yeah, you." "Too many to count," he said casually. "Stick close, watch the exits, and don't trust anyone, especially friends." Before I could ask what he meant, a cry erupted from the center of the arena. I froze. The roar of the crowd was deafening. "Keep moving," Marcus urged, "or you'll be next." We stepped onto the sand, the sunlight blinding. My knees shook. Horses thundered past, their riders shouting commands. Spears clashed, swords screamed. A man fell in front of me, screaming. "Move!" Marcus barked, shoving me aside just as a blade whistled past my ear. "Thanks?" I gasped. "No time for thanks," he snapped. A figure darted through the chaos. Lucia, a young woman with a white linen dress, tending the injured. "Here. Hold still," she shouted, pressing a cloth to a bleeding gladiator's shoulder. I barely had time to register her before she disappeared again into the crowd. The fight surged around me like a tide. Titus appeared beside me, ducking under a swing. "Watch the big guy," he hissed. "He's a killer. Left flank." I followed, thrusting my sword blindly. I felt it, metal biting into flesh, and I recoiled, stomach churning. Screams, shouts, the roar of bloodlust. I was part of it, yet utterly apart. Marcus's voice cut through the chaos. "Keep your head. Don't let them scare you." One misstep, one glance away, and I stumbled over a fallen warrior. His eyes, wide with terror, met mine. Then he was gone, lifeless. My hands shook. Titus clapped my shoulder. "First fight's over, kid." "Survived." "Barely." I could barely breathe, could barely move. The sand was soaked, slick beneath my boots. I looked around, heart racing. This is worse than I imagined." Marcus nodded, eyes cold. "This is the arena, boy. Not skill, not honor. Survival. And betrayal. Remember that." I swallowed. Fear, awe, and grim determination twisted together. This place would break me or make me stronger. Either way, nothing would ever be the same. The next morning, the arena smelled no less of blood, but now there was a tension beneath it, a quiet, waiting danger. Marcus threw a leather strap at me. "Today you learn the politics. Not fighting, thinking. Watch everyone. Note who smiles, who doesn't." I wiped sweat from my brow. "Politics? In the arena?" "Everything here is politics," he said. "Friendship is currency. Loyalty is debt. One misstep and you're food." Titus sidled up to me, leaning casually against the wall. "You're still green," he said, eyes glinting. "That Marcus lecture? Ignore half of it. People here lie because they can. You want to survive? Make them need you." I frowned. "Need me?" He smirked. "Yeah, you'll see." We were interrupted by a commotion. Aurelian, a gladiator slightly older than me, stumbled backward, blood trickling from his temple. "What happened?" I asked. Titus shrugged. "Someone's making moves. Pay attention. That's all I'm saying." Marcus appeared, his eyes dark. "Titus is right. Trust is dangerous. Especially now. That was no accident. Someone wanted him humiliated." I stepped closer to Aurelian. "Do you need help?" He waved me off weakly. I'll live. But watch yourself. They're watching you too." I nodded, a chill crawling up my spine. I realized that survival wasn't just about skill with a sword. It was about reading faces, listening to whispers, noticing the smallest shift in posture. Later we trained in the yard. Marcus shouted orders, while Titus leaned against the wall, giving advice with a crooked smile. "Always strike when they expect hesitation. Always move when they think you'll stay. Don't fight fair, fight smart." I followed his words, thrusting and parrying, my heart still racing from yesterday's chaos. You fought with everyone here? I asked. Most of them, he said casually. And I've won by watching, not swinging. As the sun fell, I found Lucia tending to minor injuries. She glanced at me, a quiet smile tugging at her lips. Careful, she said softly. Not everyone survives their first few weeks. I swallowed. I know. Yesterday, my voice broke. She pressed a hand to my shoulder. You made it. That's all that counts. Listen, I'll patch you up if you need, but survival, that's your lesson. A sudden shout echoed. Marcus spun toward the noise, tense. They're moving the next fight forward. Get ready, everyone. I felt my chest tighten. Another fight? So soon? Marcus shook his head. The arena doesn't wait. It doesn't care about your fear. I caught Titus's smirk as he vaulted over a railing. See you in the sand, green boy. Try not to die. I swallowed hard, gripping my sword. My mind raced, thinking of Aurelian, the whispers, the subtle betrayals. My fingers tightened on the hilt. This isn't just about swinging swords, I muttered. It's about surviving everything. Marcus clapped my shoulder. Exactly. And remember, every ally can be an enemy, every enemy can be an ally. Watch, listen, move. That's the only law that matters. As the arena doors opened, the roar of the crowd hit us again. I stepped forward, heart pounding, aware now that every glance could be a threat, every smile a trap. I was learning the rules the hard way, but I would learn them, or I wouldn't leave alive. The day of the fight arrived faster than I expected. My arms ached from training, but my mind ached more. Titus caught my eye, grinning. Ready to dance, green boy? I think so, I said, gripping my sword tighter. He laughed, clapping me on the shoulder. Relax. Just follow my lead. Marcus approached, face stern. Don't follow anyone blindly. Today you watch. And survive. I nodded, swallowing hard. The arena gates opened, and the roar of the crowd hit me like a wave. I stepped onto the sand, heart hammering. From the corner of my eye, I saw Titus moving differently, hesitant, calculating. I should have noticed the subtle shift, the way his eyes lingered on me too long. But I trusted him. The fight began with a clash of swords and the shouts of the crowd. I parried, blocked, and swung, adrenaline blinding me to everything else. Then I felt it, a sudden push just as I was about to strike. I stumbled, leaving my side exposed. A blade grazed me, burning across my ribs. Careful, I shouted. Titus's laugh cut through the chaos. Watch your step, kid. Wouldn't want to embarrass yourself. I froze for a moment. That laugh, it wasn't teasing. It was deliberate. My stomach twisted. Marcus barked from the edge of the arena. Move. Don't stop, you idiot. I spun, blocking another strike, but my mind raced. Titus betrayed me. I saw it now, how he timed his move to leave me vulnerable, how he dodged danger while I took the hits. Rage burned hotter than pain. Why? I yelled, staggering backward. Why would you? He smirked, circling me like a predator. Because, kid, it's survival. And I want the glory more than your life. I gritted my teeth, fury flooding my veins. You'll regret this. He laughed again, tossing a glance over his shoulder at the crowd. Regret? Not until you're lying dead, looking at the sun for the last time. I stumbled, blood dripping from a shallow cut. Around me the arena spun with screams, the clang of metal, the thunder of hooves. Yet I saw clearly now, Titus's betrayal wasn't just a mistake. It was a choice, calculated and cruel. Marcus's voice reached me above the chaos. Focus. Turn that anger into strength. I nodded, shaking off the fear. I could survive this. I had to. I lunged forward, letting my rage guide my movements, striking with more precision than before. Titus dodged, but I noticed a hesitation, a flaw in his arrogance. Lucia appeared on the sidelines, bandaging another gladiator, her eyes meeting mine briefly. She nodded once, almost imperceptibly, as if to say, survive, learn, and remember. The fight ended with me barely standing, chest heaving, sand clinging to sweat and blood. Titus walked past me, untouched, grinning, arrogant, but I saw cracks in his confidence. I'd survived today, but his betrayal would not go unanswered. Marcus clapped me on the back, grim-faced. You learned something. Pain, betrayal, they teach better than any sword. I swallowed hard, trembling. I know. I won't forget. As the arena emptied, I realized the truth. This place was not just about fighting. It was about trust and betrayal, alliances and deceit. and I would need every ounce of cunning and courage to survive it. I couldn't shake Titus's grin from my mind. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw him standing there, untouched, smug, like my pain was a joke. I clenched my fist. "I'll make you pay," I muttered under my breath. Marcus overheard me. "Patience, boy. Revenge isn't about swinging your sword blindly. It's about strategy timing. Watch and wait." "I don't have to wait," I said, my voice tight. "He betrayed me. He left me for dead." Marcus sighed. "And yet here you are. Breathing. That's your advantage. Use it wisely." Titus appeared, leaning casually against the wall, smirking. "Planning your next stumble, green boy?" I glared. "You'll see." He laughed. "Promises are cheap. Show me." I trained harder than ever, letting my anger guide me, but I had to hide it. Every move, every swing, I studied Titus, noting his habits, his weaknesses. "He's arrogant," I muttered to myself. "Too sure of himself." Lucia appeared, carrying a satchel of herbs. "You're pushing too hard," she said softly. "Don't let hate blind you. Focus but keep control." "I need control," I snapped, though my voice softened when I saw her concern. "I can't let him get away with what he did." She nodded, pressing a hand to my arm. "Then be smart. That's how you win without losing yourself." I swallowed hard, realizing she was right. My rage alone wouldn't suffice. I needed cunning. Later, in the yard, Titus swaggered past me, tossing a glance over his shoulder. "You're plotting something, aren't you?" he said, almost teasing. "I'm observing," I said evenly. "Nothing more." His grin faltered slightly. A tiny crack. My heart leapt. I made a mental note of it. Every hesitation, every twitch, every overconfidence, he left a trail and I would follow it. During a small skirmish, I watched Titus closely. He rushed recklessly, leaving his flank open. "Here's your chance," I whispered to myself, readying my sword. But I held back. I had to wait for the perfect moment, not act out of impulse. Marcus noticed my restraint. "Good," he said quietly. "Control your fire, or it will consume you before him." Later, I found Lucia tending to injured gladiators. She looked at me, eyes sharp. "You're not thinking about revenge the wrong way, are you?" "I'm thinking carefully," I said. "I can't let him humiliate me again. But I won't act foolishly." She smiled faintly. "That's why you'll survive. Anger is dangerous if you don't direct it." As evening fell, I spotted Titus alone, polishing his armor, unaware of my gaze. "Soon," I muttered. "Your arrogance will be your undoing." Marcus clapped me on the shoulder. "Patience, observation, precision. That's how the betrayed become victorious. Not with blind rage." I nodded, heart pounding. The fire in me had shifted. It was no longer just anger, it was strategy, calculation, and the promise of justice. Lucia watched silently, almost approvingly as I whispered again, "I'll make him pay and I'll survive it." Both. The arena loomed in the distance, shadows stretching across the sand. I had learned one truth. Revenge was not just about strength, it was about knowing when to strike and leaving nothing to chance. The arena gates opened and I stepped onto the sand with my heart hammering. The crowd roared, oblivious to the tension beneath the spectacle. Titus was already there, flexing his arms, smirking as if nothing had happened. "Green boy," he called, voice dripping arrogance. "Come to embarrass yourself again?" I kept my eyes steady. "No, Titus. I came to watch." He laughed, sharp and bitter. "Watch. You'll be the one bleeding before the first shout ends." I let the words roll off me, pretending indifference. Inside, I was calculating every move he might make. Every twitch, every flourish of his sword, I memorized it all. Marcus's voice echoed in my head. "Observation is power." Titus lunged at another fighter, striking too fast, too flashy. The man barely blocked and stumbled back. I saw my opening. If I intervened subtly, I could manipulate the crowd and the officials to notice Titus's recklessness. "Now," I whispered and darted forward. I didn't attack him directly. I nudged a fallen opponent just enough to trip Titus's foot. He stumbled, catching himself, but the crowd gasped. Murmurs spread, he faltered. His grin twitched just slightly and I knew the arrogance was cracking. "You're sneaky," he hissed when our eyes met. "This isn't over." "Not yet," I said evenly. I moved among the fighters, staying just behind the action, pointing out openings subtly to others while ensuring Titus bore the consequences. A swing here, a stumble there, the officials noticed. I felt a thrill, a mix of fear and control. Marcus's hand on my shoulder startled me. "Good. Keep calm. Let them see his flaws. He'll destroy himself if you do nothing more. I nodded. I can feel it. He's losing control. Titus roared in frustration, swinging wildly. Stop watching me and fight. I let him. Each misstep amplified by the crowd's reactions. I caught glimpses of Lucia at the edge, eyes sharp, silently approving yet anxious. He'll get himself killed, she whispered. Exactly, I muttered. The arena had shifted. Where yesterday I had been the prey, today I was the unseen hand guiding chaos. Titus faltered again, a miscalculated thrust leaving him exposed. One of the other gladiators who had been on the fence lunged and forced him backward, his confidence crumbling before everyone's eyes. You've changed, he spat, glaring at me. Survival teaches fast lessons, I replied calmly. He swung desperately reckless. I stepped aside, letting the officials and crowd witness his arrogance firsthand. Cheers turned to shouts to laughter at his stumbles. His reputation, the one he had wielded like a weapon, was slipping. Marcus grinned, rare and approving. Power isn't taken by force alone. It's taken by patience, observation, and knowing when to act. I felt it, the subtle shift in the arena's energy. I had tipped the scales. Titus, once untouchable, now struggled. And I, once green and naive, had become a quiet force to be reckoned with. Lucia caught my eye again. She nodded once, almost imperceptibly. You're learning, she said. Yes, I whispered, chest tight. And he's going to pay, in more ways than he knows. The sun dipped lower, shadows stretching across the sand. Today the arena had turned. And I had learned that power didn't come from strength alone. It came from control, cunning, and timing. Titus's arrogance had made him vulnerable. And I intended to make him pay piece by piece. The gates opened, and the sand beneath my boots felt alive, humming with the crowd's roar. Titus was already there, glaring, every muscle coiled like a spring. Green boy, he hissed, voice sharp. Think you've won? Think again. I ignored the taunt, gripping my sword. I don't need to think. I need to act. He lunged instantly, swinging recklessly. I dodged, parried, stepping into his rhythm. Every misstep I remembered from previous fights guided me. He was fast, but predictable. You've grown bold, he spat, teeth gritted. But boldness will kill you. Only if I let it, I said, voice steady, though my heart pounded like a drum. Marcus's warning echoed in my head. Control your fire or it will consume you. I let my rage simmer into precision, not frenzy. Every strike, every step, calculated. You think this is a game? Titus snarled, spinning wildly. I'll end you. Then try, I whispered, ducking under a swing and feinting left. He followed, leaving his side exposed. I didn't strike to kill. I didn't need to. I jabbed, disarming him. The crowd gasped as his sword flew across the sand. His eyes widened, disbelief flashing. You, how? I stepped closer, chest heaving, sand clinging to sweat and blood. Observation, patience, and a little luck. You left yourself open. I just finished the work you started for me. He lunged one final time, desperate, but I sidestepped, letting him stumble onto the sand. The officials surrounded him. Whispers ran through the crowd. His arrogance had become his downfall. You've humiliated me, he growled, chest heaving. And you, I said, voice calm, have taught me what betrayal costs. Not just blood but respect. And that's priceless. Lucia appeared at the edge, her eyes soft but sharp. You did it, she whispered. I did, I breathed, though my legs shook from adrenaline and exhaustion. Marcus approached, clapping me on the shoulder, grim-faced but approving. You've learned more than swordplay today. You've learned restraint, control, and justice. That's how the arena tests the worthy. Titus glared at me one last time, then looked away, defeated, humiliated. The crowd's mood shifted, not cheers of bloodlust but murmurs of recognition. I had survived and he had lost. I lowered my sword, chest heaving. This was never just about killing him, I muttered. It was about proving I could survive, and win on my terms. Lucia stepped closer, pressing a gentle hand to my arm. You survived and you kept yourself intact. That matters more than the fight. I've learned that, I said quietly, staring at Titus, sprawled in the sand, pride shattered. Strength isn't everything. Cunning, patience, they're what carry you through. Marcus nodded, eyes scanning the arena. Remember this feeling, boy. Power comes at a price. Today you paid it and earned it. I exhaled, scanning the crowd, the sand, the chaos around me. Scarred, exhausted, alive. I had survived betrayal, outsmarted arrogance, and walked away victorious. But the lessons of the arena, they would follow me forever. The arena was quieter now, the echoes of screams and cheers fading like smoke. I walked through the sand, muscles aching, chest still heaving. Titus was gone from the sand, humiliated but alive. I didn't feel triumph, not fully, just a strange mix of relief and exhaustion. Marcus appeared beside me, eyes scanning the empty stands. "You've changed," he said quietly. "The boy who entered the arena is gone. What you've learned, it will shape you." "I survived," I said, voice low. "And I outsmarted him. But it doesn't feel like victory." Marcus nodded. "Victory isn't always satisfying. Sometimes it's just survival, knowing you've endured what would have broken others." Lucia joined us, satchel slung over her shoulder, eyes soft but piercing. "You've grown," she said. "Not just stronger with a sword, but sharper. You see things others miss." I swallowed, looking down at the sand, still stained with yesterday's blood. I saw betrayal, greed, arrogance, and the cost it carries. I won the fight, but I lost my innocence. She reached out, touching my arm lightly. "And yet you didn't lose yourself. That matters. That's what will carry you forward." I shook my head. "I've seen gladiators fall for trusting the wrong person. I've seen men die for misreading a glance or a word. I've learned that the arena doesn't just test strength, it tests judgment, patience, restraint." Titus's shadow lingered in my mind, a reminder of arrogance and betrayal. "He taught me something too," I admitted. "That cruelty and pride are dangerous. And no matter how strong someone seems, everyone has a weakness." Marcus smiled faintly. "Wisdom often comes with scars." I laughed softly, bitterly. "Scars, yes. I've got plenty of those. But I also have lessons that no fight alone could teach." Lucia watched me, eyes full of understanding. "And what will you do now?" she asked. I paused, thinking of the arena, the cruelty, the lives lost, the alliances formed and broken. "I'll survive. I'll protect those weaker than me when I can. And I'll remember that every choice has a cost, every action a consequence." Marcus chuckled softly. "You've become someone the arena might fear, but also someone it can't easily break. That's rare." I exhaled, looking out at the empty stands, the sun dipping low, shadows stretching across the sand. "It's strange," I said almost to myself. "I came here thinking it was about blood, skill, and glory. But it's more. It's about people, choices, betrayal, trust, and learning which ones matter." Lucia stepped closer. "You've survived more than most, and you've done it without losing yourself completely. That's more than most achieve." I nodded, chest tightening. "I'll remember the faces, the whispers, the lessons. Every fight, every betrayal, every glance I almost missed, they've changed me. And I can't unsee it." Marcus clapped my shoulder firmly. "Good. That's the point. The arena takes a lot, but it can give more than death if you survive wisely." I looked down at the sand again, heart heavy but steady. I survived. I learned. And I'll carry these lessons with me, always. Lucia gave a small, approving smile. "Then maybe the arena didn't win entirely." I exhaled, a bitter laugh escaping me. "No, it didn't. Not entirely. But it left its mark. And I'll carry it every step of the way." The sun disappeared behind the walls, the arena silent now, but I knew its lessons, its betrayals, and its shadows would follow me forever.